I'm creating this video to help you understand what you can do to earn some extra credit on your first unit test. This is the problem from your test on linear programming. So what I want you to do is pick one from the packet that is not this question and work it out similar to what I've done right here. If you notice, I have all the parts in view of my camera, and make sure that your camera is recording this facing up. So it's good to do a test run and make sure that the volume and the way that your camera is recording it is going to be okay before you record the whole thing. Then make sure you also watch the video back to yourself before you email me the link. So as you recall from our test, here was our problem. We were going to make and sell some bread. We had a loaf of Irish soda bread, which is made with 2 cups of flour and 1/4 cup of sugar. Kugelhof cake was made with 4 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar. We can make a profit of $1.50 on each loaf of Irish soda bread and $4 on each Kugelhof cake, and we only have 16 cups of flour to work with and 3 cups of sugar. So how many of each kind of bread should you make to maximize the profit, and what is the maximum profit? So to start out, I went ahead and labeled my Irish soda bread is going to be my X, and my Kugelhof cake is going to be my Y. Simply put, Irish soda bread was given to me first, so I made that my X, and then Kugelhof was always mentioned second, so I made that my Y. And then I set up the table to organize all the information they gave me. I have my variables at the top, so Irish soda bread and Kugelhof cake. Those are like your 2 main topics that you're talking about here. And the constraints are over here on the left. Those are the things that you have a limited amount of, so put those over here on the left. But these are the main 2 topics in the problem. So within the problem, it says that Irish soda bread takes 2 cups of flour and 1/4 cup of sugar. So under Irish soda bread, I put 2 cups of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar. Kugelhof cake is made with 4 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar. So I put the information here, the 4 cups of flour, the 1 cup of sugar. I was told that I only have 16 cups of flour and only 3 cups of sugar, and then the last part was telling me about the profit. That always goes at the bottom of the table. That's going to create our objective function, in just a moment. So it told me in the problem that I would make $1.50 for every loaf of Irish soda bread, and I would make $4 for every Kugelhof cake. And I just wrote the word maximum to remind me that I'm looking for a maximum profit at the end of this. So then below my table, I take what I put organized in this table and I write my constraints, which are the inequalities that are going to help me in just a minute to make my graph. So I get 2x plus 4y is less than or equal to 16, and write that one first. And then 1/4 x plus 1y is less than or equal to 3, and I write that one second. We always keep in mind, for most of these problems, that x is greater than or equal to 0. I won't have a negative amount of Irish soda bread. And y is also greater than or equal to 0 because I won't have a negative amount of Kugelhof cakes. The objective function we'll need later, but I went ahead and wrote it down because it comes from my table also. So $1.50 for however many Irish soda breads I'm going to end up making, and $4 profit for however many Kugelhof cakes I'm going to end up making. But in order to find x and y that are the proper amount, we first need to graph the constraints. So I took my red inequality over here so you could see it easily, and I solved for y. And I graphed it. And then I took the green one and I solved it for y, and then I graphed it. And then you want to shade, like we worked on with graphing inequalities, underneath where both of them would have shading underneath of them, which ends up being this quadrilateral right here. The next step is to pick out your vertices. So I have 0, 0, 0, 3, 4, 2, and 8, 0. It'd also be good to use graph paper. I just didn't have any at home with me right now, so I made a decent sketch. If you don't have any, you can do what I did. Just still be accurate with your points that you're gonna pick out and try to be as neat as you can, but graph paper would help. So I took my vertices from my graph and I wrote them down in another little table over here under my objective function, because that's the last thing I need to do, is plug in each x and y pair and see which one would give me a maximum profit, because these are the extreme values of my region. These are the ones that have the potential to give me a maximum profit. The points in this gray area are things like I can make 2 loaves of Irish soda bread and 1 Kugelhof cake. That's possible, but it is not my maximum profit scenario. So it's possible, but I'm more interested in these points because they are the ones that matter the most for my maximum profit. One of them is going to work out. Even though we kind of know 0, 0 does not work, it's good form to just write it down anyway and plug it in to show your work. So that is a vertice. I plugged it into my objective function, and clearly the profit was 0. So that is not the answer. The next one I plugged in was 0, 3. So $1.50 times 0 plus $4 times 3 was equal to 12, which sounds okay. But then I plugged in 4, 2, which gave me a maximum profit of $14. And then 8, 0 also gave me 12. So I can tell that I should make 4 loaves of Irish soda bread and 2 Kugelhof cakes for a maximum profit of $14. So this is my problem on linear programming from start to finish. I hope you have enjoyed and you can now earn some extra credit on your first test.